which is obviously something that's good to see. There's also FPL was with us in Fort Lauderdale, or excuse me, in Fort Myers. They are obviously have their customers. They have a lot of resources, and so they're available for some of the municipal utilities and the electrical co-ops who may need some assistance, whether it's infrastructure or linemen, because they've got huge amounts of linemen down here. So I would just encourage folks here locally. I know you're working very hard on it. If there is something you need, let us know. We can enlist them to help. It's a very big company. They've got a lot of assets. Yes.
Response you got from FEMA and the federal government so far?
So FEMA has, they just expanded some of the individual assistance to some of the northeastern Florida counties, which we're appreciative of. We had the director of FEMA traveling with us yesterday, and she's been very supportive. We've by and large worked well with them, and we've also worked very well with the local partners. I mean, you know, when you see us bring an emergency operations center to Hardee County, that doesn't happen without very close coordination. I mean, this is a major asset for the state that was deployed here. We've worked very good. The fact that you have these pods today opening for distribution of food and water, that's usually a 96-hour post-storm event. And yet this morning, Saturday, you're seeing pods when the storm didn't even leave the state of Florida until Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. And you got massive amounts of water and food being given out in various points throughout the state. So you don't do that without good coordination. And I think particularly the folks in Florida at the local level are experienced. Our folks at the state are experienced. And I think you're going to end up with the power situation, certainly on the private utility side. I think they're going to have it done quicker than they've had for any other hurricane, which is great. Obviously, we want our co-ops and the others to do similar. And then in terms of like fuel, there's fuel available. It's just you need the electrical to run the gas stations. I mean, that's really the issue there. But we've got a lot of fuel staged in southwestern Florida that can be put to use if people need it. But I think the reality is the ports are open, the stuff is flowing again. I think it's just a matter of the gas stations that are running the generators, they're able to go and offer fuel, which is great. Problem is, I mean, there's going to be long lines of that if you only have certain gas stations open. But even in Lee County, we were at one of the bridges that got knocked out. And we were there, we met with folks. As I'm driving back through one of the communities, Publix was open yesterday morning. You had Wawa and these gas stations that were open. And I'm just trying to think, when has there been basically a Category 5 hurricane that's hit, and then less than 48 hours later, you have the supermarket open in one of the areas that was the most hardest hit? So I think that what's happened in Florida is, yes, you've had great state and local coordination, but then over the years, you know, the utilities have now pre-staged 40-some thousand for this storm. I was just at Waffle House in Charlotte. They have a whole emergency management plan and disaster response plan that they execute, because when the Waffle House is open again, that means life may be getting back to normal. So they're doing that. They're feeding first responders. And the fact that Publix was doing that. So I think like almost all Publix, there's some Publix in Southwest Florida that have not yet opened, but the vast majority have opened. That's a huge, huge thing. And so we're really proud of the whole effort, not just government, but in the private sector as well. Yes.
Governor DeSantis, I'm Diane Smith, the supervisor of elections. Of course, we being down during an election season, we don't have a generator in our building. Deadlines are still have to be met. They're continuing with or without us. Is there any way that we can expedite getting a generator for our building?
Have you requested one yet?
I have spoken, but I have not gotten an answer.
Okay, well, I would put in a formal request, work with your county, if that's what they want. I know they do have generators here as well, but if we could be helpful with that, you know, we want to be helpful. Hopefully, you know, you get the power back on very soon, and so the generators will be. But I mean, it is a good thing to have, especially when you have these circumstances. So, well, listen, we're here to help. We want to make sure that we get all our communities back on their feet. I saw a lot of flooding. I saw a lot of really significant damage that you don't necessarily see on the news as much as some of the other images, but this is important nonetheless, so we'll continue to be here helping people out. Thank you all.